All right, boys. So we just watched GQuuuuuuX. So what did you think?
I don't know how I felt about that one. It was all over the damn place. I was having such a hard time keeping track of what was happening, like starting in the war, and then it being like a reverse history. Like, what if things turned out differently, and then now all of a sudden we're on a side, and there's just a kid. It's just like it feels so like.
I will say,
I
like,
don't know.
I really was interested in like that first like 20 minutes. Like, it was actually a really cool setup where Char just like carjacks the Gundam. The
yeah.
Gundam. He just straight up like yeets out of his own, gets into that one.
Yeah.
Which was a really cool premise and setup. We didn't get much else other than that. Like, I thought we were gonna get more and more into like the alternate history
it just
side.
zoomed through it so quickly,
And then it
was
just
we're
goes
gonna
away.
Yeah, it's like, and also when they're like jumping through the war, I don't know how much time has passed in between each cut between characters, because they don't really like tell you. All of a sudden it's just like, we're moving the star base into we're moving our star base into
The moon.
the Federation moon base.
So
And I'm just
Xeon
like,
Moon base, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess that's happening. I never knew we got more than a day out of, like, I don't know, it just feels like it jumps so quickly.
Way
I'm
too
like,
fast.
So
what is happening?
So I let y'all know this literally right before the movie started. Technically
5
speaking,
minutes
yes.
before.
Yeah,
Because I
like,
kind of
by
just
the
was
way.
like, hey, a movie's coming out, come watch it. Technically speaking, this is a compilation film that is a prologue and a piece of promotional material for a series that's coming out. So, I imagine if you watch this separated with opening and ending credits across 6 episodes, it might not feel as neck-breaking. And also, too, if there's another 20 episodes of material coming out after this, or these characters are going to go on this journey, I'm sure it won't feel as weird. But even I, as a mega hardcore fan who like knows everything that's going on in the world, or I have all the background information, even I found myself kind of like having to keep up. But I will say that when I saw the trailers and I saw the promotional images, I honestly thought the opening was just going to be Char stealing the Gundam, and then it was going to be like, and then they won the war. This many years have passed. But no, they kept on him for like a solid probably 30 minutes.
It felt like a long time.
Where I was like, oh my god. And then they introduced Chalia Bull, who's a character who's from the TV series, but he's not in the movie trilogy, which is what y'all watched.
Yeah, which is why when he popped up, I was
like,
like,
who's this?
am I supposed to know who he is? Because I don't.
So he's a new type, obviously from Jupiter. And
He's from Jupiter?
yes, so Jupiter.
He's got that Jupiter accent.
Jupiter.
He does.
yes.
He did have a Jupiterian.
From the what's it called, Jupiter colonies, and the whole thing is that the people who are from those colonies are a little bit more hardcore because the gravity is more intense. I don't know. There's kind of like a weird lore behind it.
I mean, there's that giant red storm always, so that
So-
keeps the people.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So he's part of what's known as the new type core. So Amuro actually kills him towards the end of the show when he battles him, but it was Char, Lala, Chalia Bull, and like some other people who I'm not even sure were canon or actually in the show, but they're like the new type core or whatever. So in this version, instead of Amuro getting the Gundam, it's Char who steals the Gundam. It's kind of funny. So in the very opening, when they have Char go in the original, it's 3 Zaku's, like regular Zaku's.
Yeah.
And then one of the soldiers go rogue and then basically gets them all killed.
Yeah.
In this version, they say, oh, his things, his mobile suit's broken, so he can't go. We have to send Char instead. And it's like literally because they didn't send the crazy asshole who fucked everything up. It's like that one was literally like the butterfly effect. So that one thing is what led them, because Char went in.
And he's a lot more forward, and
He's just more
and
competent.
and he wants to do something. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
that's the butterfly effect in this, is that because that one soldier who went rogue, I forgot his name.
What was it? It wasn't Denim. Was it?
It's not Denim.
It's
It's
not
not
Denim.
It's not Denim.
That's what his name was in the movie,
There's
right?
Denim, Dren, and then there's one other character I can't remember. It's
Not Job John.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and what's funny is that you get to see Amuro's dad, but you don't
Yeah,
you don't see
you don't see
Amuro
him,
or
yeah.
anyone else.
You don't
Yeah.
see Amuro. Yeah.
Well, because I guess Amuro never had the.
No.
He's
Because
just
things went on for
completely
because I guess things go
insignificant.
on for so long.
He
when
stayed a
things
civilian.
mess
Also,
up.
too, Captain Bright might have died. They don't actually show you. He might have been in the bridge when it exploded, but maybe not.
What I was kind of hoping is like they would at least show
the Pegasus.
Yeah,
they
I was
stole
kind of
Crazy.
So yeah, they steal the Gundam and the Pegasus, and instead of it being the Gundam fighting Zaku's, it's the Gundam fighting gun cannons. And I will say, one of the things that a lot of people were bitching about whenever they released the promotional materials, they thought that the mobile suits look ugly. They've kind of grown on me. I kind of like that they did something different, and I actually think they look cool. Especially, I like them more like, I don't know how to put it, the more Evangelion-inspired face.
That's exactly what I was like. It
There-
definitely
there
did
are a lot
have
of
an
like
Eva.
additional details. Like the face had a lot of like extra cuts in it, and his chin had like a little ball.
It was almost more
Peter Griffin ball chin.
It was more insectoid or like more like monstrous looking.
Yeah.
And also too, it was the Zaku's have like really thick thighs, and it almost looks like
It
almost looks like they're calibrated for balance or something like that. Like it almost like, even though they look goofier, they seem like to be more practical. I don't know, maybe that's just my brain filling in information, but like there seems to be motivation behind the reason why they're redesigned, other than just selling toys. But so yeah, and then what's crazy, so I thought it was just gonna be a scene of him stealing the Gundam, and then it was gonna be like, and then they won the war, and then this is this many years later. But no, they literally go through every tactical strategy of like, okay, this is what the zombies had them do. This was Char's plan. Now that he's not fighting Amuro, and now that he doesn't, fall in love with Lala, now it's just him and Shalia Bull teaming up. This is how they're gonna take over the base, and yada yada yada. And I was just like, this is crazy, like, because
It almost felt unnecessary.
yeah, I was gonna say, I love it because I'm a Gundam nerd, and it's like the lore I want. Like, it felt like I was watching the most badass PS2 cutscene, but they could have, like I said, just had him. It would have not really made a big difference if they just had him steal the Gundam and then fast forward, because it felt like it was a montage that just didn't end.
Yeah,
like it just kept going. It wasn't.
Yeah, which is why it felt so like disorienting, because I'm just like, they're just like throwing out, oh, and now we're at this battle, and now we're doing this, and also Garma has left the military.
Yeah.
In a throwaway
why do we-
line. 1 second. Well, now that Garma's gone, it's like, I'm sorry, Garma. I mean, he didn't die this time, obviously, but he left for some reason. It's just like, and also Cresselia knows Char as Casval.
So that's also in the original.
Is it? Okay, I
Yeah.
guess I just don't remember
But
that.
she suspected him because he killed Garma. So that's why, like, in this version,
She's like, I hope Casval is good enough.
yeah.
And it's like,
I mean,
oh.
to be honest, just like Batman, it's like in the real world, I think people would be smart enough to kind of put two and two together. It's like,
Yeah.
you look
Who has
like
the
him,
resources
you sound
to-
like him, the way your all your actions are motivated. But so I will say, at the end of the montage segment, there's some spoiler stuff that happens, but that was the first time where I really, like, my ears perked up and went, oh shit, like, this is getting weird. And then it gets really weird, and they mix in some, like, almost some lore from Char's counterattack. Now, y'all haven't seen Char's counterattack.
I have.
Oh, you have.
I have.
So the Saikamu device, which is a device that enhances new types' powers.
It looked like it was just like something that allows you to like control the
Yeah.
thing with your with your physical movements, instead of like having joysticks and levers and pulls. It's like, oh, if you want to move your arm up, you'll be naturally like moving your arms up, and they'll do it. Like, punch, and then your weapons will activate because you're like, oh, I want to shoot my head cannon now or something.
So the idea in Gundam, so the whole reason, half the reason they use mobile suits in Gundam is because the Minovsky particles render targeting systems and like radio communication, things like that. It's almost like a electronic interference in a way. It renders a lot of that stuff useless.
Seekers or anything.
So that's why they're literally aiming big ass guns at each other and fighting with laser swords, etc. But the thing with new types is that because they have telepathic abilities, they can communicate without any electronics, and also too, they can psychically link to other devices. So in this, the Saikamu, which is what Lala uses actually on the Elmeth on that ship, she had those little, they almost look like turkey basters, those lasers. They gave Char's Gundam his red Gundam, which is badass.
His red Gundam is kind of sick as hell.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
I did kind of love seeing him have a Gundam. I was like, oh,
you
that's kind of
happy for
sick
him.
as hell.
And I love how he openly even was talking to Shalia Bull. He's like, oh, by the way, yeah, once the war's over, we're gonna kill the zombies, and then we're gonna take shit over. I'm like, this is some Sith Lord like
Yeah,
rule of
he's
two
like
shit.
really planning well ahead. And by the way, after this mission is over, we're gonna murder the royal family.
Just so
you know, you're
Just a
reminded.
heads up.
I am gonna do that when we come back.
And it's fucking
Like, oh,
awesome.
okay. Yeah.
I just wish the whole movie was that.
At a certain moment, that's what I thought it was gonna be. I was like, oh, I guess it's
alternate
just
history film.
an
You
alternate
literally-
history show. Because I said
You
that to you
leaned over
next
to
time. I
me
was like,
and you
oh,
were
it's like
like-
a Hitler. What if Hitler won
Yeah.
style
What if
thing?
the Nazis won?
It's like Wolfenstein
Yeah.
or something.
It literally is like.
Yeah.
I thought that was what it's gonna be,
And
like
you
a
think it's
alternate
gonna, yeah.
history.
It
and
is
then
and
something
isn't.
happens, which I assume we'll talk about later.
And then
it just
and then it just
stops.
whoop, skips 5 years ahead, and you're just like,
It's literally the longest
like the hell?
Prologue.
the longest
Yeah.
montage ever, and it's like it's too much and too little at the exact same time.
Yes, because honestly, if they had just given me like a title card, like you
Like a
know,
Star Wars
like
title crawl?
September
Like-
5th,
oh, okay.
you see 0079. When the next area, it's like 29th of November, UC 79. During that montage, I would have felt like, at least now I know how much time has passed. I would have loved if I just got some sort of like a title card or just some like a commentary of like
I just needed to know what happened to Bernie. That's all I needed to know.
what happened to Bernie.
He's probably alive and well.
That's what I just
I
need to
guess,
see it.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just need to see it.
Oh boy.
But this was that was because the 1 year war, or at least from the launch of the Gundam to the end of the show, it's 6 months, I believe. Or maybe 4 months, I can't remember. Anyways, so what they do is they do tell you the name of like famous battles and like locations. So from that you can kind of get an idea if you're like
I think-
a hardcore nerd and you know when certain battles take place, you're like, okay, the Battle of Odessa or the Battle of Loom, whatever.
Yeah, I recognize Loom. It was more just like, okay,
Or
I was like,
about
oh, I guess
who-
they're naming a battle, so I guess time has passed, but.
But it's
It
an
was just a little
alternate history
disorienting.
anyways. Yeah.
And so it'd just be nice, like when you're in an alternate history, like things aren't mapping out the same. So
Yeah.
I don't know when, like, the Battle of Loom. Well, anytime there's a battle at Loom to take it over, it's going to be called the Battle of Loom. So it could have happened later, sooner. It's tough to say in an alt history setting because
Yeah.
it really could have happened at any time. Because now they have different capabilities, so they attack it earlier or something. So it was just a little disorienting. I don't think it was the biggest deal, but I was very much just
Well,
like,
then should we move on to the actual second
Yeah.
half? of
yeah.
The
what-
actual
the
new
actual
story.
crux of the story.
Well, it's crazy because they drop the title card, and then it is the most jarring, violent shift in tone and art style, like to the point to where
the arts. Yeah, I didn't even think
yeah,
about
yeah.
how much different. And
Like
one
two
thing I'll talk
different
about,
teams
the
animated
hair being translucent
yes, it's
threw me off so hard.
so it's.
I don't know if I like some of the character designs. TBH.
This
Yeah.
is what frustrates me the most, is because of course I'm biased. I love the classic 70s style, and for them to recreate it so faithfully, but with new animation, I was like, oh wow, this is really cool.
And the music,
Yeah, and then they had all the classic songs
yeah.
back,
Yeah.
which was cool.
which was great.
Honestly, the opening of I was like, I feel like I'm literally just watching
Rewatching the
again.
original.
movie for the first
Anyway,
time.
badass.
Yeah.
but yeah,
And then, they have the new stuff, which is done by the Pokemon Sword and Shield character artists.
that
Yes.
makes
Seriously?
sense.
Yes, it's Pokemon style art, video game art, character designs. But
That actually makes so much sense.
It makes way more sense now.
Now that I'm imagining the gang.
yes, imagine them with Pokeballs in their hands and like the gym leader hats. And shit.
Honestly, the one lady who's like, I guess, pro our girl character
Yeah.
before she does the fight
with
near
the
end.
earrings, and she's like more mature
When
or
she
whatever.
walked up, she literally reminded me of
A gym leader
Rocket.
or something. Yeah, or yeah,
The-
Team
the
Rocket.
girl lady from Team Rocket.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
you have a totally new art style, and also it's the tone. It went from like dry sci-fi military
Yeah.
fiction to
What you're used to in
like
Yeah.
squealing schoolgirls and like pop music, and I was like,
yes. Which I did like the pop. The music,
I love the
music
score.
choices.
I, will
I was
say,
like,
yes, the score is
You were
great.
humming the
that,
score.
That half of the movie that I was earlier. That half of the movie, every time a song came on, I was like, and I like this song. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, here we
it's
go. this is good music.
Yeah, Studio Kara, who's the studio that did this, when for Evangelion and their other productions, they've always had great music. So and even for the trailer, like the song, the one that's like no. Like I just like this shit's so good.
And well, speaking of Ava, I forgot it's directed by one of the co-directors of literally all of the Ava films and show,
and it's co-written by Hideaki Anno,
which is insane to me.
Yeah, it is. It is insane. So, you know, it's one of those things where I don't dislike the new art style, and I don't even dislike the tone. I am just so perplexed as to why they thought it was a good idea to have two completely different art styles back to back and act like it's the same universe. Like it's the way it was utilized that felt so jarring. And I even noticed that in the production art where I'm like, Char looks like an anatomically correct guy, and then you have all these freaking like what look like by comparison like Simpsons characters or something like that, but from their proportions and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, I actually think I would have liked it better. Because if they're gonna go for a new style, a new generation, make it more of like a modern anime, have redesign Char. You already redesigned the Gundam. You already redesigned everything. Redesign Char and all those classic characters, because then it gives you like a new, completely new everything. But I guess they wanted to have their throwback, but also move on to the next generation. So it's like I don't know.
I can also see them like they start with the throwback because it's like that's where we are in this world, and then 5 years later, after the war is over and history's really different, this is the culture of the free colony or whatever. So you know things are less serious. I don't know. It did feel like such an odd tone shift. Yeah. Like when that title card drops. Honestly, we'd been watching the first half of it for so long. I was like,
oh, it's starting now.
I was like,
you're like, oh, so now the movie's starting.
Okay,
it's been 35 minutes,
and then it's just like the music kicks in, and I'm like, oh, this is totally different. And then the girl jumps over, trips over, and I was like,
the subway scene.
And now we've hit like cutesy teenage girls,
like
which I don't mind having a teenage girl pilot. Doesn't bother me. But the cute teenage girls, all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is not what the first 40 minutes had prepared me for. Like,
yeah, because usually
I was expecting them to be regular kids, but not like cutesy styled kids. I don't know.
Especially, regardless if this is a movie or a TV show, the first chunk of your story is supposed to kind of establish your characters and your playing field.
In the world you're setting it.
This doesn't introduce your main character until 35 minutes in after exposition. And it just felt so like, again, and I know it's multiple episodes of a show or whatever, but even if I was watching a show, after 4 or 5 episodes, maybe it's more forgiving, but you're still like, whoa, wait, no. So now we're getting into the actual story. So like I said, it's like I love the alternate history shit because it's literally like a Gundam PS2 game or something. Like it's awesome. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like
such a jarring.
Someone got carried away on the keyboard and went, oh fuck, I forgot this is a new show. We gotta all right, bring in the new girl. And also too, it's again the characters go from acting like adults in a military fiction to acting like anime characters. Like
this is where it goes. It goes too far.
Yeah, because it splits between because you've got like you still have got the Xeon group, which I guess is like our new antagonist, who we're still following, and his people on the ship act normal. There's like one scene where they kind of go, "Oh no," but aside from that, they are still kind of acting like what you established prior to that. But then it's like all the other characters are acting so much different. They're acting super anime. So I guess maybe the military characters act military characters and the anime characters act like anime caricature.
It doesn't help that they act like, you know, the caricatures of anime you see on Instagram. And they're like, hi, I'm a baka.
No. You're just like, oh my god.
I'm Machu. Oh my god, why did I say Machu? That's my nickname.
Yeah. Some of the cutaways were funny, but some of them I was like, all right,
the
wrap
one
it up.
cutaway with the poorly drawn
where they're going
Siryu and the
where they're like brain dead. That shit was actually funny.
That got me. I thought that was hilarious.
Or he has to do the weird anime thing where he's sniffing girls' hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that was that creeped me the fuck out. I was like, why are you sniffing?
I'm like, why is this so neurodivergent child with a robot?
I like to.
I love that the robot on his head. The noises it made was really satisfying.
The robot on his head was adorable.
That was cool.
I love the what do we call him, Conch or something?
I don't know.
Oh, we also saw the return of your favorite robot.
Oh yeah, Haro.
But he doesn't have to say Abra. He doesn't get to say Abra.
No, he doesn't anymore.
But he does do the double repeat.
Yes.
of whatever thing he's saying.
And he has a beanie.
So and he has a
He's
beanie,
really
which
cool.
A
then
long beanie.
yeah, the real long beanie.
That was cool. So now we can actually get into the actual story of the show. It took our discussion is kind of mirrors the movie because we
Yes.
really had to get through a lot of shit before we actually get to the main story, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to fully accurately do justice. So essentially, we have some mystery involving Char in the past that we won't really get into until I do a quick spoiler section at the end. But you have this high school girl whose background we don't really know much about. We know she's in high school. We know she's, tech savvy. At least she would have to be.
We
I
sort of
guess
know she's
she
tech
is.
savvy.
We
Her
still
mom-
don't really know.
No, she knows how to use Foolipedia.
Yes, Foolipedia.
Oh, and also they had a Uber Eats. What was it called? It was because the girl had like an Uber Eats.
It was like
backpack.
Dine Dash or something. Dash.
Hers was
Dine or
Deli Time or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Dash.
Deli Dash.
Deli Dash. I
There
thought
we
it
go.
Yeah.
Teamwork, baby.
Yeah, it was like Uber
Deli
Eats.
Dash.
I was
Deli
like,
Dash.
what service is this?
Yeah, I'm like, also, and they have cell phones and shit. I'm like, look,
The scrolling on the cell
iPhones.
phone, I loved.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, yes.
A lot
this
of
is a
her
futuristic
plot-
society. I don't know what new future will be. It's probably always gonna. I feel like it's always gonna kind of be a phone like
You
style
realize
thing.
her plot all
So-
starts because she broke her phone, her iPhone.
So-
this whole
yeah,
movie-
because
this
another
whole story
girl
revolves around.
because another girl ran into her.
that's how the plot starts, which is
Yeah.
very anime.
Yeah, it's
So-
like, oh, I got knocked into by a cute girl.
yeah.
like, oh
well,
my
also
God.
too, it's the juxtaposition of the energetic crazy girl and then like the
The
stoic,
low- yeah.
quiet, like tsundere character who's all like grumpy. And then the neurodivergent, weird, like almost L character from Death Note. That's
Yeah.
like the other character. And then your
The
ragtag group
sniffer.
of like your rebels or whatever. So basically, the plot is that
The plot.
As we understand it.
she gets involved with some underground organization of a mix between what I can tell is like a freedom fighter group, but then also too a group of what they called, I think it was
Clan battle.
clan battles. Yes, I'm so glad y'all are here.
Yeah.
So clan battles. So basically, it's like dog fighting, but with mobile suits. They,
Possibly to the death.
yes,
as well.
underground like Fight Club that people wish they stream. They
Yeah, an
stream.
underground
which
fight
is-
club, which is in space.
They also
which can also
say-
be watched on a television at a bar.
Yeah, they
And-
stream online.
and you're watching
and
it
they
at a
bet
bar.
on it.
They
And so they
have
make
to
money.
also finish the fight in 5 minutes before the military police shows up.
Yes.
Yeah, which and it's like you might die. Maybe you'll live if your head gets chopped off
Or the
and you're
cops
in
will
the
find
chest.
you.
But yeah,
No wonder it's illegal.
yeah. I mean, they almost crashed into traffic, and they're just blasting their cannons willy nilly. Side 6 is going to be full of bullet holes.
How about don't do it anywhere near people? But whatever.
Yeah,
So they
which is kind of a cool idea. I kind of
Yes.
like the underground.
I like the
battle,
idea of underground kaiju fighting.
Yeah.
that whole premise could have sufficed for an entire show. Like, so what I was gonna say is that I kind of wish they really shortened down the prologue, made it very quick, and then made the entire thing about her training to be like a fighter and like the thing, and made it like almost like Rocky meets Gundam. Like that would have been kind of cool.
Jeez, why aren't you a Gundam rider?
I know. I should be.
Just break into the office. Gundam
yeah.
and Rocky. And they're like, all right.
They're like, very good. But yeah, because G Gundam is like Street Fighter meets Gundam, so it wouldn't even be that different from something they did. And who knows? Again, we have to wait until the show comes out, and then
Yeah.
we might see. Like, obviously, I'm gonna watch it. I don't think y'all are gonna watch it. I don't think this is really gonna be up your alley unless I tell y'all it's actually really good.
maybe
but-
since I've already seen at least six
this,
episodes
At this
of
point,
it.
having seen what we've seen so far,
Yeah, I guess now that you're invested, it's like you might as well. But I think so. As someone who is a major Gundam fan and is currently watching through every single one ever made, even the ones I know are certified doo-doo dog shit, for me, the mystery of Char, and also too the kind of mystery behind our main three characters is enough to really intrigue me to go, I want to know what's happening. And also too, I want to see what this world has to offer, because this is Universal Century, which I know so intimately well, but it's a completely new like version of it. So I'm like, okay, so is the Grips War gonna happen? Is the Neo Zeon shit gonna happen? Like, what is this tournament stuff gonna lead to? What is the mystery behind this Gundam? Because that's really the whole mystery is what power do these Gundams have? And then also
what powers do the pilots
yes
have as
because
well?
we still don't really know. Like, obviously they're probably new type adjacent, so that's the
Yeah.
thing is, if you don't like new types or you don't like the space magic bullshit, you're gonna fucking hate this because
it revolves.
it is dripping
completely
with space magic.
revolves around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Char's entire plot kind of goes into that, and we still don't really know what happens.
and you know, I for me, I kind of go back and forth on it. To me, it depends on how it's handled. Here, it's again very intriguing, so I would like to see what they do with it. But the movie, again, it definitely doesn't feel like a film. It definitely does feel like a clip show.
There are some hard cuts that occur that are so jarring and honestly would only work in a TV show in which either there's been a commercial break or this is the start of another episode.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even
because they're just so like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, I guess we're cutting to this character all of a
I wouldn't
sudden.
even call it a movie because there really is no beginning, middle, or end
No.
or conclusion to
Yeah, it almost feels
if you're
like
gonna do like
it feels like a stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just happening and happening and happening, and you're just like trying to I gotta soak it in.
'Cause-
And I can't.
like we've seen the movie trilogy. Those movies at least have an ending to those movies, and I've also seen the rebuild of Evangelion, and those also
As crazy as they are, they do have structure to 'em.
There's a structured story to it.
Yeah, it feels like
which-
you're getting a satisfying arc.
you are.
That occurs
because
and not just-
they'll
yeah.
throw in like they'll cram in multiple episodes into one of those movies. That felt more satisfying. This, I don't even know if I can call it a movie.
No.
I think it's also just the way.
It's
I
just
think
a
the show is
86-minute advertisement for a show.
Yeah, and I think also the way the show is written, it just doesn't lend itself to having. It's not built in the way where the first 86 minutes, or maybe they cut away 10 minutes, maybe they added a couple, like 2 minutes, whatever it was, the 80 whatever minutes they gave us was not made in a way where there was a satisfying rise and fall. There was like a midpoint where you're like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
what's this gonna mean?
That's
for
not to say
everything?
I thought this was terrible.
No,
because
no,
it's
but
not.
as
It's
but
just-
structurally,
I
it's not.
if you're gonna review
Great.
it as a movie,
Yeah.
don't watch this and just wait for the show, because there's
Yeah.
really no point to watch this. And then
Unless you really just
and-
want to have access
and
to
it's
it
kind of
Yeah.
like a
really
sneak
early.
peek. It's kind of like a hey,
Yeah.
here's a sneak peek. Kind of
Here's
like
the-
here's
the
a
first
demo.
6 episodes.
Here's a demo.
Because if not, they could have just fleshed out prologue stuff into a more full-length thing and made that like not a prequel, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
kind honestly, yeah, like a short film.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you said this was a prequel, or like the first 6 episodes, I was like, when we were going to the first half, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna get like a full alt history, whereas we're gonna watch it all the way up to the war ends. Maybe we'll get like 10-15 minutes of setup into what, like, oh, now we're like, we're driving forward. We've met a ton of our characters, but now we're gonna meet like, who's the new character,
Or maybe-
that's gonna like start this journey up. That's what I'm thinking. The first
Yeah,
like,
or-
like 10 minutes, 15,
like-
and then it starts jumping really fast, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna jump and we're gonna finish the war,
And
and,
this is
then I'm
now
gonna get
ending.
more history after, when now Char's taken on the Zabi family as he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
as he's clearly positioned, and then that.
Doesn't
in the scene we'll
happen.
talk
Or
about,
maybe-
it clearly does not happen, and it's like, oh well, then I have no idea what the point of the first 30.
I was gonna say like, or maybe just do an alternate story, but just have new characters. Like, let's
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
Amuro's just dead. Every
Yeah.
one of those characters are dead. Let's just do an entirely fresh reboot of the UC war, just in an alternate
something,
history.
Yeah, something else has happened. We got a new cast of characters. Maybe 1 or 2 stick around, like Char and,
Yeah.
you know, Chamomile Bloom or whatever the hell the guy's name was.
Bowl?
Oh,
Shalia Bull?
Shalia Bull.
Yeah.
I was like,
what are you talking about?
Shalia Bull.
He also
I couldn't
has
think
a
of his
dumb
I thought you were
name.
just trying to say
We
Camille.
agree.
I'm like, bro, that dude was not.
No, Shalia Bull.
Trying to remember anyone's name in Gundam aside from like Amuro or Char is a difficult
It's
task.
like what's that Star Wars character that doesn't exist that everyone talks about? Oh yeah, It's like, you know, when you're an obscure fan about something, it's like the Star Wars joke where they're like, oh yeah, this is Glup Shido, the Glup Shido
Glup
prequel.
Shido.
Yeah, so
Or
you know,
very
we were
much
just
Glup
talking about
Shido
Metal
energy.
Gear Hot Coldman.
Yeah.
That's a Gundam
Job,
character.
Job John is the Glup Shido almost,
Glup
except for he actually
Shido.
exists.
Where is he in this? He better be alive.
All of
Honestly,
those
I actually
kids.
am pissed that Job John was not featured.
If they were gonna show him, I
Amuro,
wanted him
don't
to
give a
like
fuck.
at
He
least
should have
get
been
like
the
a
other Gundam
heroic.
pilot.
He should have been at the very end. It should have
would've
been
been
Job John.
Mate, Nyan, and Shuji. We're gonna cut out the part where I looked up all their names, and it's gonna make it look like I really absorbed all the information. I mean, it's not my fault because it goes so fucking fast.
You're not
Yeah,
supposed
so
to probably.
You
you're
hear
probably not
Amuro's
even-
name so many times in episode 1. They don't stop saying his name.
Amuro! Hello, Amuro! Hello, Amuro!
You're looking very well today, Haro.
Thank you, Amuro! Amuro! Amuro's Amuro! Amuro, you're Amuro! Amuro! You're Amuro!
Even his robot says it over and over again. Just in case you don't forget.
So we have our main 3 characters set up, and we have our main antagonist set up, and then the only thing is that it's kind of my biggest complaint, and it's something that will be fleshed out when I actually watch the show. There's not really a main conflict
No.
set up. It's like
Not
there's
at
a
all.
mystery.
Yeah.
That's it. Is that Shalia Bull is trying to find out
What the
what
fuck
happened
happened?
to Shar and what these new Gundams are about. And then we know that Amate can use the Saikamu and the Gundam like with ease, while the other pilot, who's the actual pilot for the GQuuuuuuX or whatever, he couldn't.
Yeah, who's also
so it's
a new
like
type.
why is she special? And why is Shuji special? Are they just new type characters, or are they somehow related to previous characters? I guess now's the time to go in the spoilers. So at the end of the prologue, Char was supposed to set up an explosive with his team to help save the moon base and save Xeon. However, he decided, I'm gonna pretend like it messed up and I'm gonna let it crash so that way I can kill the zombie family, while at the same time letting the Federation lose the war, leaving me as like the sole victor in all of this. But then he runs into another Gundam, like a super powered Gundam, and in a new type flash, he sees that it's his sister, Artesia.
Very quick, yeah.
And I thought that was a really good twist, and I was expecting more to come out of it. But then the Saikamu gets activated for some reason. We don't know why. We hear Lala's signature, her like theme song or whatever. And they also mentioned that there was someone in their laboratory disappearing.
They give you some name for somebody who's disappeared before the
So
like.
a new type in their laboratory disappears.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's Lala or someone, I don't know.
with
Maybe a
some
new
sort of
character.
interdimensional time shifting
Powers.
dimension. Because right after that, like he gets shocked, she fights, he defends himself, thinks he's out of it, and then she does like one attack on him, and then it crumbles everything on him, and
Yeah,
then
so
as he's
he's
getting
stuck.
crumbled, all of a sudden he's being teleported.
Yeah,
sort of
something
like he's, like,
activates.
taken,
And we're assuming that. So there's the lore from Char's counterattack is that they have things called the Psycho Frame that enhances new type powers, and they use that to save the Earth. But Amuro and Char disappear, and then they're eventually pronounced dead, and they basically their souls like basically immediately left like Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Right.
like left their mortal
Right.
coil, and they joined like the life force or whatever the fuck. So the cosmos.
well, that's-
Yeah, I forgot.
That's what happens in Char's
it's
counterattack.
been a few months since I've seen it. I
Spoilers.
totally forgot about that.
The
I was like,
fuck?
it's a
Yeah.
bizarre ending.
So in this, Char disappears, and whenever the Gundam returns, whenever the red Gundam returns,
It's not.
It's belongs to this new character Shuji. So it's like, how did he get it? We don't know.
Yeah.
and that's like. So I guess if that's the conflict or the driving force, it's what is the mystery behind this? And then another surprise cameo, which I don't think y'all caught, but they're on Side 6, which is the neutral colony where 0080 takes place, but also where the last Gundam movie, they visit it, and that's where Cameron is. So Cameron is Mirai's ex-fiance, the one that Slager punches. I don't know what his role in this story is going to be, but, you know, it looks like you're having all these, like, different politics go on around this whatever this
Side
weird...
6 is like still a free state or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind
it's
of
not Xeon or
independent.
Federation.
Even though technically Xeon is like the dominating force as opposed to the Federation.
Yeah, like they have like we can enter Side 6 whenever we want and do an inspection, but you guys are free to make your own laws
Exactly.
as long as it doesn't infringe upon, you know.
And there was a little politics when they were going into how, you know, the immigrants living on Side 6 are treated more shitty, and that's space noids, even though...
Bro, when they say, these are refugee houses, they're not even legal to build here.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy to me because you're on a space colony.
How'd they get
Materials
there?
have to be flown to you. They built houses in the space colony. What? But they're like, whatever. We just dig through the ground and destroy their buildings. Like these people hate their
Space
own.
racism exists.
Yeah, like refugees. Fuck them.
Almost as if it's a commentary
Wow.
on certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird because I'm like, they didn't get there on accident. Like, it's a spaceport. There's one entrance. Like, how do you, like, I don't know. It was very interesting.
Yeah, there's no sneakily across the Rio Grande. You're literally entering through a controlled opening in a space station. I mean, you're not slinking in there.
Controlling immigration in space seems a lot more easier.
Seems a lot simpler. Yeah, it seems very easy.
How do you lose people?
Yeah, out the
smuggling.
airlock maybe.
Anyway,
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're left off. Is, you know, we know that.
well, they had the fight.
Yeah, so they fight,
Yeah.
and
The
she's-
clan battle.
and she's like, you know, oh, but the prom's tomorrow. Like, it's like, she's like, oh, you know, I have school, I have a curfew, and I'm
I've
like,
got a test.
why do we have yet another high school character as our central protagonist?
But let's
Stop
not
doing
forget
high school stories, please.
Her mom, and the reason she's able to leave home to go to the clan battle is because her mom works for the president of Side 6.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. She's a government employee.
So she has some political role. So I think she will have like a larger political career thing that maybe intersects with her daughter's illegal activities. But also, I mean, there's the whole connection between when Charlotte leaves, there's the pink rainbowy swirly effect.
Right.
When they leave, and then she experiences that when she, you know, does a ridiculous 14-year-old kid's ninja jump into
Yeah.
into
Where she's naked?
the cuck Gundam.
Yeah.
And before she's naked.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess she jumps into the cuck Gundam and then immediately is in this ethereal realm and like yeah.
Well,
and
that's
then
because that happens
she's
to
naked.
Lala and Amuro as well.
Yeah, and then
It
she's
is,
naked.
but it's just funnier.
And
It
the
is.
moment that happened, I immediately pointed my hand up and I was like,
There you go.
I was waiting for this to
This is
happen.
where it
Yeah.
turns into
because
an
there's the
anime.
one where
She's
like
naked twice.
well, she's
Yeah.
like upside down on her hands, you know, doing a handstand.
That's right.
At
They
the pool,
introduce-
and
We can see
she's in
your
her
panties.
panties.
They
And they're like,
introduce her.
You can see your panties.
They introduce her by panning on her doing a handstand with a skirt on up to
top-
her feet
on a diving board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we get So they clearly had they were drawing them feet. They were drawing them panties. It felt a little too horny for
How
me.
much
if I'm
of this
being honest.
was Hideki Anno and how much of this was the Evangelion crew? Or was it the whole... I don't know if that was in their plans.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't
Like,
really
they-
seem
They're like,
like...
boys, we gotta sell figures. All right, we gotta sell those body
we
pillows.
got to get her naked real quick for just a minute.
We got to get the teenage boys and
They're like,
invested.
look, people gotta take
Yeah,
baths
yeah, the
eventually.
teenage
Get her in
boys,
the,
they got to get the 33-year-old men
You're like,
watching.
They're like, look, everybody's gotta take a bath now and then. Just get her in the tub. Just hurry up.
Just so much is happening in this movie that is.
It's not even a
so
movie.
hard
Yeah.
to feel like you're soaking it all in.
you're
'Cause
watching an
you're just like,
86-minute
If I was
trailer.
on episode 6 and I knew I had episodes 7 through 25 left, I wouldn't be as overwhelmed. I think it's because I literally I watched it in a package, and part of it was part of what made it feel so crazy is the expectations of like I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, if I had an intro scene to give me like a minute to digest the previous episode before my streaming service automatically starts this one,
Also,
it would help me give at least a second to reckon with the last 20 minutes I just watched.
Also, part of me feels like I got ripped off because you didn't tell me it was not a movie until 5 minutes before the movie started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really it was just a clip show.
You're like, oh, by
a
the way,
mon-
this isn't really a movie, so
more
don't
of
expect a conclusion.
montage, Yeah.
I needed y'all in this video, so I wasn't going to talk about myself. Even though I will be, well, I won't be. Captain Bright and the crew will be talking about this film in the tier list video. Don't be surprised if Captain Bright happens to share all the same opinions I have. He's definitely not a conduit for my opinion or anything like that, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the show, obviously, because I'm a Gundam fan, and I was entertained, and I'm glad I saw it like with y'all and our friends who came with us. But yeah, I don't know. I will say this is kind of my fault for going on social media and like on Facebook, but the fan response since the first poster has been overwhelmingly negative. They're like, this looks stupid. Like you have like these little girly characters and like, oh, you know, the Gundams look like insects. Like this looks like crap. And like people really dogging on it and not really giving it a chance. I think it's still worth giving a chance and worth checking out. Like it's still interesting, even though it is very, very different. And it definitely feels a lot more like a modern anime. But, you know, I think that if you just give it a chance and go in with an open mind, there is something worth checking out. But as far as like, you know what? I was going to give it a rating. I'm not even going to give it a rating. I'll let y'all give it a rating. I'll wait until I
Funny enough, this is probably one of those rare times where I don't think I can give it a rating because it's not actually a movie. But I guess if you're like a really big fan like you are, the mystery will keep you invested until the show comes out. Just wait till the show comes out.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even really say.
Yeah, it's definitely like if you have.
Don't seek this out.
Yeah. Don't watch this shit.
Don't watch this.
Yeah, if you know you're
And
gonna
I'm not
watch
saying that
the
in
show,
a bad way.
Yeah, wait till the show is available to you and watch the show.
It's
'Cause if
entirely-
you watch this, and you're just gonna walk away from it like that was too
It's
much.
entirely possible that maybe they like when the show is fully out, maybe they can kind of do a movie kind of like what the original trilogy was, where they just kind of like take the show and just like let's just make it longer. Maybe it's possible that they do that. I don't think they will.
If the next episodes are structured where the next 8 to 10 episodes have a perfect narrative arc, and then the next 10 to 8 episodes after that have a equally perfect narrative arc. Otherwise, it's going to be just as jumbled of a mess as this one was.
Yeah.
Which, because I thought it was interesting. I like the alt history angle. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I kind of like the battle bot thing. I think that could.
That's what I was gonna think.
have
What was
an
it? Battle
interesting
bots.
thing. And her mom character being in the politics, I think
She's in it for 5 seconds.
She's in it for 5 seconds, but I feel like it could expand more or have like some interesting characterization to her character. So I think it's interesting, but I mean, if I had to rate like just watching this as an experience, probably be a 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
Nice.
I follow.
and
Oh, I thought you
and
were
I-
saying 3 out of 10.
And no,
Oh, no.
3 out of 5, and I'm also being kind. A part of me wants to say
Yeah.
it's a 2.5 out of 5.
That's fine.
Because
it's not even
I
a
was
movie.
like, if I have never seen Gundam before,
You're
I would have
fucked.
watched
Oh,
this
yeah,
movie and
for
thought,
sure.
Yeah, if you
this
brought
is
like a
dog
girl to
shit.
see this, sorry, bye. She's gone.
Yeah,
she's
if this
she's
is your
gone,
first exposure
bro.
to Gundam, this is the worst thing you've
Yeah.
ever seen. This is dog shit.
It gets
If you-
a 3 simply based on the intrigue and the mystery.
This
Yeah, if you
requires a
watch
lot
the
of homework.
original and maybe some of the side content, and you're just like, whatever. I don't need to understand everything. I can still live in this world. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It'll probably be better as a show. It's paced horribly. It's a jumbled
This is
mess.
glowing
and
praise.
It's just
Glowing
like,
praise.
You're just like
worst
information.
reviews.
This is one of the worst things I've seen
And
all
it's like,
year, actually.
What the fuck?
This is one of the worst things I've ever
Actually, I
said.
didn't like this at all.
One of
Actually,
the
it
worst
sucks.
movies. 3 out of 5. Go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it was only out for one night, so we can't even tell people to go see it because it's already gone.
Let's just say it was a Fathom event.
It was a Fathom.
It was one of the Fathom events of
Yeah.
all time.
It was an event, and it was unfathomably complicated and convoluted.
Yep. All right, Drew. What did you think of the new Gundam movie?
It was good, but I didn't know what the hell was going on.
In your words, describe the story.
The dude like time travel or reset that shit.
No, okay. Keep going.
While I'm eating
What are you eating?
burger. So the dude like time travel and then the art style changed, and the little girl got in the mech and started brawling and shit.
So what would you give it out of 10 then?
Like a 6.
That's pretty respectable. Okay, thank you.
It's
glad I
just
went.
it's just an 86-minute trailer for the TV show,
And it's called Cuck. So,
G-Cucks.
I mean, G-Cucks. I mean,
which is fantastic. They say that in the
yeah,
movie.
G-Cucks. G-Cooks?
Kind of.
G-Cooks?
I don't know.
They
Probably not.
get real. They get close enough to where I
G-Quacks.
heard it and I went, that's Cucks. They said.
Well,
they said,
there's actually, so it's so funny because there's actually a part in the movie where one of the characters pulls up the file and he goes, "What the hell?" He's like, "How the hell do you even say this?" And then the character, it spells it out phonetically. It said G-Quacks, like with a CK, like quack like a duck.
yeah, but it's still. He's like G-Quacks. G-Quacks. It's still. It's close.
It's just funny.
I'm not gonna say it.
It's
in my
never
head,
not gonna be
In my head, it's always gonna
G-Cucks.
be G-Cucks.
This is the most
It's
complicated.
easier to say than whatever.
G-Quacks. Also,
no,
they
G-Cucks is
the
funnier.
3 different characters all pronounce it different ways.
And we're never.
Kind of. And they're also like, oh, well, this is such a. They even comment that, wow, this name is stupid. They must not have gotten ready to actually name it yet. So they're basically saying, yeah, I know we named our show this, and it's a dog shit name for this property, but I don't know, we couldn't think of a better name.
We already printed it on thousands of model kit boxes. We can't recall all those
Yeah.
boxes. It's too late.
So it's
too late.
G-Cucks.
Yeah, it's the most complicated anime name since Bo 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 Bo. Do y'all remember that show?
What?
It's a guy. It's a guy.
Oh,
it's
I
a guy with a
actu-
blonde afro and he fights with his nose hair. It was on Toonami. They're like Bo 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 Bo.
Yes,
coming
I
out
do
next.
remember that because I do
It's
remember.
it's an anime comedy. It's actually really funny.
I do remember.
It's like a guy who looks like Johnny Bravo with like a big blonde afro and sunglasses, and his nose hairs grow and like kung fu fight other characters. And then I think what we got out of this experience is that everyone should go out and watch Bo 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 Bo.
You should.
That's probably a better use of your time, and just wait for the show to come out, and then if it's bad, I'll let you know.
Yeah, he'll let you know.
Subscribe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.